But before you blame the person, you have to ask two questions. Is it a skill issue or is it a will issue?
We've now hired a whole team of virtual assistants. We got them set up on project management tools and communicating well, but maybe there's a few problems starting to creep in. When should you fire a virtual assistant?
Okay, so this is a great one, right? Because sometimes people wait too long to get rid of someone, and other times people just blame the person straight away and then just keep churning through VAs. So they're two sort of opposite ends of a similar problem. So the first step, obviously, I mean, look, recruitment is a very difficult thing to get right. So let's just park that over to the side for a second and assume that you've recruited quite well. You've gotten a good person, but you're noticing mistakes are happening. Stuff's taking longer than you thought. You know, you can't quite put your finger on it. You're wondering, are they doing a load of washing while they're supposed to be working? All these things like naturally creep into your head. But the first step before you go and fire anyone is to sit down and ask yourself, right, there's a kind of a process for this. And what I always say to people is before you go and blame the person or shoot the person, right, let's go back to the chain a bit first and we start to look at the process. And what you want to go is, I wonder, are there holes in the process where me doing it or someone else doing it has a different thought process than this person? And maybe we need to put in a couple more steps or make something a bit clearer, or maybe there's a training gap there. Then you got to tweak all of that or find out where are the roadblocks there. If you've done all that and you're still sort of finding that there are holes, etc., you want to start looking at, actually went through this exercise with a client recently where we had to look at the tech they were using. And what we realized was that the VAs were trying to tap into a system that was in Australia. Now, the Philippines is quite far from the servers, and it was causing a massive lag that we only through testing we figured out, actually, time delay in how long it was taking them to do something. And that unearthed a major problem. But we had to go there next to see, like, is it internet? Is it tech? Is it how do things perform in different locations? Finally, when you're going through all of that, then you have to start looking at the people. But before you blame the person, you have to ask two questions. Is it a skill issue or is it a will issue? Now, dealing with a skill issue first, if it's a skill issue, can the person be trained on this? Or maybe is this above their level, right? So, and that's kind of a call you have to make. You might want to try and train them first. And if they're still struggling, I don't want to use the word firing because that sounds like somebody's done something wrong. Maybe it's time to, part company at that point. But only after you've ascertained that the skill issue is not, you can't get over it, right? If it's a will issue, that's attitude, right? Now, that can be somebody lying. And typically, if you've gone through this whole process and you still can't really quite put your finger on it, it's probably just a wrong fit, to be honest. There's some reason why you guys are not fitting together. And if your intuition is saying there's something wrong there, you probably should listen to that.
Yeah. I've got a personal story, actually, a personal experience, which I had recently in making a transition from working with a VA into actually taking on somebody full time, which explains exactly that. I had a VA who was actually processing the podcast for me and producing it and getting the blogs live and all that side of it, and booked them for about sort of between 10 and 20 hours a month. But as we started to layer in more parts of the process into it, so obviously there's things that we want to do in order to promote the podcast, we just reached a natural impasse. And I realized it wasn't a skill issue at all. It wasn't even that she, we could have booked more hours and she could have done it, but it just reached a point whereby the number of steps in the process just became too much and overwhelming for her. We tried to bring in an extra team member to then take it on, and that's the point where skill then broke down. So what I actually ended up doing, I reached out to one of the coaches on my team, a guy called Stefan. His specialty is finding people, training them up to be leaders and setting them up with his sprint formula, basically, which is all based around Scrum and sprint techniques and using all of the great tools which you just said. Initially, we were like, well, do we go down the VA route? And he said, well, I'll look at the traditional VA sort of, ports of calls. So he went on to places like Upwork and Fiverr and various other VA sort of websites. In actual fact, we lucked out because he managed to find somebody from Upwork who was based here in the UK. She had a job, but she graduated, done a marketing degree and just graduated, but was looking for something a bit more solid. And it was like the money was right. She was in the UK, so we didn't have to worry about the time of things. Very enthusiastic, needed a job at that particular point. So everything kind of fell into place. I suppose my point here is that we kind of had to go through, and it didn't get awkward or uncomfortable, but it just came to a natural end with the VA company I was using after about 6 months. And we needed to move things forward. And I need like now it's pretty much a full-time job for Jess to kind of manage the podcast. So I totally get it. It's such valuable advice, Barbara.
Yeah, it's tricky. I think as well, the other thing people forget is that hiring people, managing people, delegation is a skill that is not talked about enough in the business community. And it's something that you have to master, just like you have to master marketing and sales and all these things. But there's less importance placed on operations, and delegation is part of operations, as is automations and systems and all that kind of thing. But if you don't invest the time, energy, and money actually in trying to master that as a skill, even if it's just you on your own in the business, you end up paying dearly for it, and you pay in frustration and you pay in irritation. And part of being great at delegation is accepting that when you start doing it first and you start in this game, there will be moments where the business will have to slow down for a second so that you can transition, or you can make a decision, or you pull someone out and put someone new in. And that's just all part of the game, right? It's not that you're failing. It's just that in order to do that, it's going to take time.
So it's all about finding a better way, isn't it, at the end of the day?
Absolutely, yeah.